Here with a process video for Lottie Loves Paper using the lovely She's Magic collection from Dear Lizzy. You can see I've got a selection of papers there, and I'm just starting out with this first pattern with these lovely navy, mustard and greeny dots on, and I'm using some white gesso to create an area in the middle of the paper that I'm going to apply some mixed media on. Now you can see I'm using that star cutter tool to gauge sort of where the gesso is going. What actually happens is that I end up not using the star in any shape or form, but my original idea was that I was going to use some star shapes on the background, so that's why that is there, but you won't see it anymore because I end up changing my mind about what I'm going to do. So I've got some Heidi Swap colour shine there in butter, which I'm using the packaging technique to apply to the gesso, which is now dry. And I applied some gesso simply because it tones down the background pattern of that paper and also provides a much better surface to apply the mixed media on. It stops the paper buckling quite so much. It still does buckle a little, wrinkle a little bit, but the gesso helps to stop it wrinkling quite so much. And on top of that butter, I'm going to add some splatters in navy. This is my favourite colour shine colour, and there that is I think it's patina, or no, seafoam, the greeny shade, sorry. So I've put that aside to dry, and now I'm just preparing the border that I'm going to use. I've got some blue sort of navy, I can't remember what exactly the colour is, I've had it such a long time, that's just basil cardstock. And now my mixed media is dry, I'm just trimming the edges of that 12 by 12 down slightly, and I've gutted the middle of the navy just to be a bit frugal, so I've got a bit to use on other things. And I'm applying my tape runner around the edge, and then I'm going to fix that on to that border. I don't know what's happening with the lighting there, I'm sorry. When I put the white cardstock down, you kind of lose the blue into the background on my black on that craft mat, so I apologise for that if you can't see it very clearly there. And now I'm going to construct the rest of the layout. I'm using a scrap lift from the Facebook page Scrap Squad, and this is one of their latest scrap lifts for 2020. And I'm using this cute little photo of my great nephew on his first birthday with his sister. And I've scrapped all of his party photos with this collection. When I'm scrapping photographs from an event, I do like to use the same collection, or at least bits of it, or even the same designer, so that all of the layouts from one event are kind of tied in together. So as I said, this is my 7th layout using She's Magic, and I've done a couple of Traveller's Notebook spreads as well. I'm just now cutting down some journaling boxes from the 12 by 12 sheet. There's lots of different journaling boxes on that sheet, and I've cut a couple off there in colours that coordinate. And I've decided that I want a border along the edge of that middle strip of paper, that text strip, but I wanted it a yellow one, but I haven't got enough yellow. I haven't got a strip that's 12 by 12, so I've cut some shorter strips, and I'm just gonna make do and hopefully be able to hide the joins once all the ephemera and things are on the strip. Hopefully you won't be able to see the join. That's the plan anyway. So I'm adding those bits along that one edge, and want that one the other way around so that the colour is a better match where the join is. Cutting that bit off, and then I've done exactly the same on the other edge as well. and I'm now sticking it down across the centre of my layout background. So I've got a little bit of mixed media above and below the centre panel, and then I'm going to add my ephemera boxes or journaling boxes and ephemera across there too. Decided I wanted a border around that photograph just to help it lift from the background as well. It's got a white border, but as the background that it's on is quite pale as well, I just thought a darker background would help lift that and make it stand out from the other bits on either side. Just fiddling around with placement before I add some foam pads to the back of my photograph. I'm going to double layer this. I'm going to put 2 layers of foam sheet on there so that the photograph is a little higher, because then it leaves me the option of putting some of the journaling boxes on either side on foam as well, but the photograph will still be the highest piece, if that makes sense. So because I added that dark navy border matte to my photograph, it then was bigger than the centre panel. It kind of came off the top and the bottom, which I didn't want. I wanted it to be contained within that centre strip. So I'm adding 2 more strips of patterned paper to widen that middle section so that the photograph is contained within it. If you can see what I mean there. Now that's finished. And now I'm going to add those journaling boxes. I've just got an assortment of boxes that just tie in with my colour scheme, and that one there I'm going to add on foam, and then I'm going to add this one on the other side. And I want to do something a bit different on this one. I've got a roller stamp there. I think it's an Ali Edwards one with just lots of different phrases on, and that's just from my stash. Got some dark grey ink, just wiping off where the ink has sort of touched the edges of the stamp, and I'm just going to stamp the phrases down that journaling card to create a little bit of a difference so they're not all just blank. I'm going to write, I'm not a big journaler. I don't write loads on my layouts. So I like the way that looks, just with some random phrases stamped on there. Just adding that final journaling box to that edge, and now coming in with some smaller bits of ephemera, and there's some chipboard stickers in this collection, and I'm using that chipboard sticker Smile for my title along the top there. Adding that ampersand and beginning to stick them down as I decide where I want things to go. Using that sort of circle, and that's to hide, I'm popping that there, and that actually hides the join of that yellow strip along the bottom. And now coming in with some smaller again. So when I work on a layout, I always work with the biggest pieces first and go gradually add down in size. Adding some word strips. The scrap lift that I'm using has got word strips coming down the centre from the photograph as well as the title along the top. So I'm looking at my sticker sheet and finding some word strips that I can use along there. Got my puffy stickers as well, and I've also got some enamel shapes in this collection as well. They're really pretty, these. Adding those hearts in. I move these around a couple of times as I sort of add more bits in. I move them around to get a balance of colour, but also a balance of flat shapes and enamelled shapes as well. Adding some more word strips. I've got a couple of word strips, and I found these chipboard stars, which are not chipboard, sorry, wood veneer stars, which were from Lottie Loves Paper in a previous kit. And they were one of those things I loved so much. I wanted to save them for a special layout and ended up not using them with the other stuff in the kit. So they're from Freckled Fawn, and as I said, they were in a Lottie Loves Paper kit a while ago. And I'm at that stage where I'm waiting for new collections to come in from Creativation, so I'm using Stash Up. So those stars pop on there. kind of sprinkled down throughout that central line of embellishments and stickers. Adding some more, another little strip sticker there with those silver hearts on. And I keep adding, well, I love using word stickers. I probably say this every video I do. You're probably bored of hearing it if you watch my other videos. Love using phrase stickers and text. There's that little, adding one along the top there, starting to build that top layer up. Oh, and my chipboard's not stuck, so I'm going to add some glue to the back there. I find that quite a lot with a lot of chipboard. And I've moved the title up slightly actually, now I've stuck it back down again. And then coming in with the enamel shapes. And then I've got some sequins from my stash. These are not from the She's Magic collection, they're just ones that I've got. And I'm just going to add in a little bit of bling sprinkled through the title and those phrase strips. Deciding where I want them to go, and they are, you can't see the colour terribly well on the video, they're navy and gold sequins. Adding in a few more words, I just wanting to get the balance right, because I added that star on the right hand side. It needed something else further over to the left to add some balance. So now I'm just adding those sequins on with some Tombow glue. And the only other thing that I do is add a couple of more phrase strips in the top to fill in the gaps just above the title, just to balance that out with the bottom area. And then that's me done. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me some comments down below to let me know what you'd like to see. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.